Joe Biden will send troops to Eastern Europe amid an escalating crisis in Ukraine. The US president is keeping up the pressure on Vladimir Putin, saying he'll bolster the NATO presence in the region. Tensions are running high there as Moscow has amassed more than 100,000 troops at Ukraine's border. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged Western leaders to avoid stirring panic.
Tensions between Ukraine and Russia. President Biden saying he'll be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe and NATO countries in the, quote, near term as a congressional delegation visited Kiev. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is there on the ground with the latest.
This morning, the world awaits Russia's next move. The Kremlin insists they will not start a war with Ukraine, but the U.S. says Russia is in a position to invade. The Kremlin trying to pressure NATO to guarantee that Ukraine will never join the alliance. Russia moving more than 100,000 troops to the Ukraine border with tanks, armored vehicles, and setting up field hospitals indicating they could be preparing for combat casualties.
We're going to have a look at the skyscraper now. Have a look up here to the north of Belarus. Now, over the last 24 to 48 hours, there have been more Russian military assets moving in there. There are long-range artillery. There are also Sukhoi 35 jets as well. And what it means is that you now see Russian forces pretty much surrounding Ukraine in a horseshoe to the east. Now, down here at Donetsk and Luhansk, this is a contested area. There is a concentration of force. Also in Crimea, remember that was annexed by Russia, also forces here. Now, does this mean that Vladimir Putin is intent on invading the country? Well, it certainly gives him a number of options. He does have the possibility of a full-scale invasion, although the Ukrainian government says there simply aren't enough forces here. Somewhere in the region of 120 to 135,000 troops in all.
The war of the airwaves is almost as important as the battle on the ground. And the message in this footage from the Ukrainian military training with UK anti-tank missiles in the west of the country is of readiness. Joe Biden has now walked in a call with the country's president. There is a distinct possibility of a Russian invasion next month.
Have you decided how soon you would be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe?
I'll be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe and the NATO countries in the near term.
The UK's strategy of deterrence and diplomacy is stepping up a gear, with a call expected between Boris Johnson and Vladimir Putin before the PM travels to the region early next week. Liz Truss, who met the NATO Secretary-General on Monday, will travel to Moscow in the next fortnight. And Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, here in Berlin on Wednesday, is due to visit allies in Eastern Europe. But not all Conservatives are convinced.
The West has looked somewhat disunited. From a Russian perspective, there's never been a better time to invade Ukraine, something Putin has been wanting to do for a long time. He's enjoying this international attention. Every time a leader puts their hand up and says, I'm going to go to Moscow to try and talk this, of course he's going to say yes. He is spinning this out. I doubt whether any invasion will take place until after the Beijing Olympics. China would have made sure of that. This is our Cuban Missile Crisis moment, and we must not blink.
Next, we're going to hear from Mustafa Arsku, the Human Rights Project. By the way, everybody standing up here has a story. They have a story about their family, and they have a story about friends and what's happening to them.
Thank you, Senator Scott. I'm very grateful to you for speaking out so strongly about my people and everyone else who is suffering atrocities at the hand of the Chinese government. As I speak, millions of Uyghurs are subject to China's endless atrocity crimes. Uyghur men and women are suffering unspeakable trauma, torture, and sexual violence. Millions are detained with no trial. At least 800,000 Uyghur children have been taken away from their families by force and are being raised in government orphanages and boarding schools. It is likely that most of them will never see their families again. And the government is carrying out the campaign of forced sterilization and forced abortion. Uyghur business leaders are subjected to unfair trials and given long prison sentences like 14 or 20 years. Then their business assets are confiscated and sold on Alibaba's auction site. The Uyghur Human Rights Project and the Wall Street Journal found evidence of at least 84 million US dollar of property sold online in the last 3 years. The possession of property is a key hallmark of genocide. My own family members are suffering surveillance, harassment, threats, and detention. My classmates and teachers and neighbors have disappeared. I don't even know whether some of them are alive or dead. Our mosques are desecrated or paved over. Hundreds of cemeteries have been bulldozed. Even the dead are no left in peace. For the world to treat the 2022 Winter Olympics as business as usual is an outrage. I hope that people can see that it is not just another sporting event. Every time when you see the NBC logo and the 5 Olympic rings, you need to see what is behind the screen. Hundreds of concentration camps where my people are suffering.
Talk about democracy dying in darkness. Over the summer, we warned you about the Biden administration releasing thousands of migrants throughout the country in the dead of night. Now, newly uncovered video shows federal contractors discussing the secret flights, warning that the whole operation needs to be kept under wraps, and then explicitly saying they don't want to alert the media.
We don't want to be somewhere where the spotlight is how long as possible.
Oh, I get it. I just, like I said.
Stuff that we don't tell people because we don't want to attract attention.
And those same contractors not mincing words about who's to blame for the secret flights.
I get the whole secrecy and all that, but this isn't even about my secret. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
And why? You know why?
You know what?
Yeah, no, but why? Yeah. No, well, what's the big secret? Everybody knows what's happening.
You know why? Because it's out. The government's training her.
Things are getting tense and tempers are flaring as the migrant crisis intensifies here in the U.S. New video capturing Border Patrol agents confronting the Border Patrol chief over President Biden's immigration policies. Bill Malugin is in La Jolla, Texas, with all the details for us. Good to see you, Bill.
Hey, Jackie, good afternoon to you. So that video happened yesterday. This was when DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was visiting Border Patrol agents in Laredo, Texas. And during that meeting, Border Patrol agents in Laredo got into a heated back and forth with their boss, U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz. They let him know they're not happy with what's going on, and a Border Patrol source leaked me that video. Take a look.
I've been doing this job as long as y'all. What's that?
For evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
I can't hear you.
For evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's exactly what's happening here. Good men are doing nothing. You're allowing illegal aliens to drop off communities.
You are doing something.
No, sir, we're not.
Well, hello, world. Quick question for you. Are you ready for me yet? Or do you need a little bit more time? Because I fear you may not have a little bit more time. With the way your governments are doing, getting ready to start that big one. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Are you ready to fight the fight? Because when they do start that war over in the Ukraine, I have a big fear about something. And that is that America's president has lied about sending U.S. troops to help the Ukraine. I feel he's just gonna sit back and watch as Russia attacks. Well, everything else that's going on and has been going on and that I have warned you about since before this whole outbreak started. Have you awakened from your dreams yet to realize that this is all actuality? That this is all real? And it's going down. It's going down. What side are you going to be standing on in the end? The good or the evil? If you're ready to take back the world, then you know all you have to do is join the X Revolution. This ain't no club, no gang, no Black Lives Matter, no Ku Klux Klan, none of that. It's not about race any longer. Your government's made it about race for all these decades, pitting the blacks and whites against each other. You know, the Hispanics and Frenchmen against each other. However you want to look at it. Have you not grown sick and tired of this? Are you ready to reap the benefits and rewards of defeating evil of this world? I'll be waiting for your answers. You know where to put them. It's a little place called a comments box. If you're ready to join the revolution, let the world know. And I will. We'll see you all on the battlefield. So remember, you are the X Revolution. And I am your fearless leader, King X. That fears no man on this planet. And I bid you your doom. Your doom.